Now let's talk about roof parameters which are specific for the roof element in Revit. So first we will talk about cutoff parameter. I would put this slope to 40. So I have a roof like this, and the cutoff parameter will say to me that from the cutoff level on the cutoff offset it will finish the roof or cut the roof. So it will be only the down part left. So let's see it in example. I will put level 2, 1000, and now you can see that it actually cut the part of the roof which is above this cutoff offset. So this is useful if you need to create a roof which has upper part with a higher slope or lower slope and the lower part with different slope. So let's see it in action. Let's say that I would create another roof here which will have 60% slope, and now you can see in 3D I would need to put it on the 1000 where I was cutting. Now you can see that I was able to create a roof which has double sloping, so the upper part has 60% and the lower part has 40%. So for these instances I could use cutoff parameters. Then there is another type of parameter which is overhang. This one is actually only available if you create a roof by selecting the walls. So first I create the walls like this, and now if I create a roof by footprint and I use here the pick walls tool, I create a roof, and now still inside of the roof sketch, because this is a property of the sketch line, I can select the sketch line, and here you can see I have overhang value, and let's put it to 500. And what this does is best seen in section. So let's create a section view here and go to the section view, and now you can see that I have overhang of this roof from this wall. So the value I put there, 500, you can see that it's 500 here. So if I go here and I will change this to 1000, now you can see in section that it actually created an overhang which is 1000. Then there is another parameter. Again, it is a sketch line parameter which is called extend into wall core, and what this does is that when it is not checked, this value will be measured from the edge of the roof to the finished face of the wall. So let's create a different type of wall to be able to see it. I have it here, that you can see that I have core boundary and finish layer on the exterior side which is 50 millimeters thick. So if I change it to this wall, this type, you can see that it measures from the finished face exterior of this wall. But if I create this parameter to be checked, to extend into wall to core, now you can see in my section that now this same 1000 millimeters is actually reference to this exterior core side of the wall. So this is what this parameter does. Then there is another parameter which is called plate offset from base, and if you create a roof by footprint which is not using the pick walls tool, let's say I would create another one here, then the equivalent parameter is called offset from roof base. It is doing exactly the same thing, but it is called differently if you created the roof with pick walls or just sketching. So let's see it on this example. If I put here 1000 and I check finish, in 3D you can see that it created that hip roof. So again, in the section, if I check it in section view, you can see that from my level, which is here, it actually created an offset. Maybe it would be best if I just stretch my level for you to be able to see it. So from the level, it created an offset which is 1000 from this level. The same thing works with this roof which was created by the big walls tool. So if I put here on the place offset from base 1000, you can see that it created the same thing. It offset it 1000 from the reference. Then there are rafter cut parameters. Let's say I would put this back to 0. And let's go to the section view. So rafter cut parameters are controlling the behavior of the eaves of the roof. The basic one is called plumb cut, which is just vertical cut. Then there is a 2-cut plumb and 2-cut square. If I try this one, you can see it created something like this. And if I try the square one, it looks the same. The difference between them can be seen only if you put fascia depth. So let's put it to, let's say 50. And now you can see that the 2-cut square created this shape and 2-cut plumb creates this shape. This parameter cannot be used with roofs which were created by shape editing. So if you created a roof with the shape editor, you cannot actually create this parameter to something different than plumb cut. And also if you have another types of roofs, even if they are sketch based, but if they are too complex, this one will be grayed out and it will be only on the plumb cut. Then there is some limitations when you are using the pick wall tool and the overhang values, because let's say that I have a roof like this one, where you can see I could reset this value to 0. So you can see that all of my eaves are same, only this one is overhanged. And now if I try to change the value to 2-cut plumb, let's say, and I would put 50, you can see that it gives me an error and it cannot make the footprint of the roof. And this is because the eaves are not aligned. So let's say that I would create all of them with the overhang. And now I will try to change it. You can see that now Revit actually let me do it, but if I have only one of them, or when one of them is different than the others, I won't be able to change this parameter. So let's go back to the example where I have only one overhang value. Let's say 1000. Okay, finish. Now you can see that it doesn't even let me make the footprint of the roof. And that is because I have the rafter cut still on the 2-cut plumb or 2-cut square. So I'll put it back to plumb cut. Now if I let the overhang, I'm able to create it. So what I wanted to show you now is align eaves. And with this parameter you can see quite easily here the values and see which eave is not at the same height as the others, and you can align them like this graphically, or you can just leave it that way. But this is actually pretty handy because you don't have to go and click all of the sketch lines and check the parameter if it's there defined or not. You can just do it quite nicely graphically. Then there is one, I would call it even a bug, that let's imagine that I have here in this roof not only like these, like 2 sketch lines from the offset from the roof base, let's say 1000, like this, but I would create it with all of them. That would be 1000, offset it from the roof base. So now basically I created a roof which has an offset of 1000 from the roof base. Usually I would create it with this base offset from level, but now you can see that here I see 0, but if I go to section, I can see that it actually is offset. And if I change this one to plumb cut, you can see that it's actually offset 1000. But if I check the parameter, I see that it doesn't have anything here. So in these instances, you should check the sketch of the roof if the sketch line actually doesn't have something inside it. So now you can see that it's back again at the 0 of the reference.